Last week was a big week of shoots, and since Matt and I were in Perth, I didn't get a chance to go through all of the equipment after we got back from the flight on Saturday morning because it was a very late arrival back in Melbourne, and I was absolutely knackered after the shoots from last week. So I'm taking the time now to go through all of the equipment and make sure that it's in good working order and just to tidy things up so that it's ready for the next shoot on Friday.
Generally, after getting back from an interstate shoot, the equipment is a little bit all over the place, especially the equipment that's in the checked luggage as it's being moved around the belly of the plane. I like to go through all of the equipment that we took on our shoot, just to reset everything and make sure that there's nothing missing or broken, and get the batteries on charge so that everything is ready for the next shoot. Generally, this is something that I do as soon as I got back, or the day after since we got back pretty late. But I was feeling pretty exhausted, especially since last week was the first big production week that I've had in a very long time since coming back from the summer holidays. When checking over the lenses, I noticed that there was a smudge on the 24-70, which was a nice big smudge, so I gave that a good clean. I also used this reset time to get everything set up for the shoot that I had on Friday so that I wouldn't have to do it later in the week. In addition to the equipment that we took to Perth, there was also the equipment that we had on the Wizard of Oz shoot that needed to be checked over, which was the FX2 as well as my personal 24-70 f4 lens. We left the FX2 behind in Melbourne as carry-on limits for domestic airlines only allows 7 kilos, so we didn't have the space to carry an extra camera body. I'm always amazed when I see what's in my camera bag videos and the sheer amount of equipment that some people are able to carry onto their flights, because it wouldn't be possible on domestic airlines in Australia. We were able to get picture lock on the Wizard of Oz shoot, so I spent a day and a half roughly color grading the video.
God, Premiere is frustrating. For some reason, it's not relinking all of the files automatically, even though they're in the same folder. There's no name changes or anything like that. For some reason, it just isn't linking properly. So I'm having to manually relink each one of these files for this Specsavers Wizard of Oz project that I'm going to be color grading later today.
This relinking process took forever, and I'm not sure what was happening, but if someone has an answer, please let me know down in the comments below. With the grade of the Wizard of Oz video, I wanted to stay somewhat true to the original source material, so I found a way to create the Technicolor look within DaVinci Resolve. In addition to creating the Technicolor look, I also used the Dehancer plugin to add some bloom as well as 35mm film grain.
So I've got a shoot tomorrow with Matt where we're shooting some overlay as well as capturing a voiceover for a recruitment video. I'm going to put all of the coverage into a shot list as well as go through the script, just to make sure that we've got everything that we need for tomorrow. And then I'll probably break down the voiceover portion into just its VO section so that it's a little bit easier to follow whilst we're recording the voiceover. I like to do all of this stuff in Notion so that everything is in the one place. Just makes it easier to find later.
The gear required for this shoot was pretty straightforward. Lighting wise, I had the Nanlite 720B as well as the Aperture 300X for key and fill ambient light respectively, and brought along the typical modifiers of the Light Dome 2 as well as the Light Dome Mini 2. Since I knew that there was a lot of overhead lights, I also brought a large reflector that I would be able to use above the talent in case the area that we were filming in had lights directly above head. I'm a big fan of using overhead diffusion to remove the harsh overhead lights. preventing panda eyes, but allowing you to still use the ambient level that's coming from the lights within the space. On the camera side of things, we were using the trusty FX6 with 24-70 combo, as well as a Pyro 7 for monitoring. I love using the Pyro 7 as you're able to provide wireless monitoring to an iPhone or iPad via the Holyland app, as it's made our workflow on set so much more efficient in terms of showing the client what we're capturing, as well as keeping our footprint small, especially when we're working in confined spaces. The last pieces of kit that I brought were the tripod, which was a Miller Air, as well as the Easy Rig to capture the piece to cameras, as well as the overlay. That's all for this vlog. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.